Hello YouTube, this is MT Shark 7 here with my lovely assistant. Before can there be a video where you're not noisy? Why are you so noisy? I'm trying to talk and you're making all that noise. What? No one wants pizza. It's past your bedtime, young lady.
Why? You want pizza?
You can't have pizza. So anyway, I want to make before I get into videos of how to disassemble and repair your CDX, I want to make a full disclaimer that I wasn't able to repair the CDX console because I didn't have the proper equipment to do so. It was having discrete errors, so I bought a new lens for it. But when you get a new lens, you have to calibrate it using an oscilloscope, which I don't have. So I tried doing it myself, like with a game, putting it in. If it loaded, I tweaked the potentiometers, but still no luck. So I wasn't able to fix it. So I hope this video is somewhat informative of how to disassemble and reassemble the unit, and I go over some other tips as well. Just ignore her. She doesn't know what she's talking about. It's way past her. Almost past her bedtime. You have a half hour until your bedtime. Shh. You don't have to scream. Inside voice.
Right.
Because we're inside. Anyway, guys, oh god, it's way too long. Enjoy the rest of the video. Let's see if it's gonna work. It's loading. I don't know why you're saying uh-oh. What are you... Why'd you reset it? You didn't think it was working, so you decided to reset it? You are goofy. You didn't even give it a chance. It's still loading. Don't reset it yet, honey. You're welcome. Alright, now hit reset. Hey, get your foot off of it. Did you hit reset? What are you doing here? There you go. Good girl. Your daddy's good helper. You're welcome. Sega. I don't think it's working, honey. The CDX is broke. Looks like we're gonna have to repair it, sweetie. Hopefully we can get it fixed. But yeah, it's not reading CDs, so let's see what happens. So I'm starting to take apart the Sega CDX. Now one thing I want to point out is if you're ever working on video game systems, there's an easy way to find out if it's ever been tampered with without using any warranty thing. What you do, you put your screwdriver in the screw, turn it clockwise to tighten it, and then slowly turn it counterclockwise to loosen it. And here, you hear that crack? That usually means it's breaking away from the plastic inside. I don't know if you heard that. Let me see if this one makes it better. Tighten it, and then hear that? That means it's never been open. That was a better one. So this CDX has not been tampered with. Man, that was kind of hard to do with one hand. So there you go. Alright guys, so here we have the Sega CDX fully disassembled. Now I'll go over step by step how I disassembled it, and I'll also go over my lessons learned, so hopefully you can learn by my mistakes and it'll be seamless and easy as possible. And I'll try to do my best to give you a great visual representation, even though everything is already disassembled. So just pretend that everything's fully there. So the first thing you want to do is you want to open the cartridge slot, and there will be 2 screws on either side. You can use a regular Phillips head to take out these screws, which are right here. They'll be right there. Oh God, hopefully this focus works. Showing some light. So they'll be right there, one there and one there. Take them out and put those screws aside. You won't have this bar yet because that's held underneath the circuit board. Then your next step is to remove all 3 side screws. The first one is right here by the AV out. Remove that one. And you want to use, what one is this? A number 0 Phillips screwdriver is what I used for that. And then in the back there's 1 screw there. So that's your second screw. Now the third and last one is in between the line out and the volume slider. There it is right there. Now, one life lesson you want to learn is this one, this screw right here, you do not remove, because this holds in the CD door's, what is it, the hinge there. There's the screw, it holds it into place, so I'm going to try and do this with one hand. Bear with me. I apologize also for the shakiness, because it's hard to do everything with one-handed, as most of you guys know. And it holds it in place when you open it. So as you close it, you see there. Now if you forgot and you do remove that screw, it's no big, you're not screwed. But make sure you wait until you get this fully disassembled, and then at this moment it'll be easy to reinstall that screw. Just make sure before you reinstall or reassemble everything, make sure that screws put back into place. So then the next step is you got your 3 screws put away inside, and these 2 from the cartridge slot at this time. Now you turn it over, you see the back panel here. There'll be 4 screws, they're easily located. Remove those 4 screws and you can lift off the back panel. Put the back panel aside. This is where you want to, what I do, just to keep everything in order, I like to put all the screws together. So as you can see, I put, these 4 screws are from the back. Come on, focus. These 3 were for the side. These 2 I'll tell you about later. And then also hold on, let me put the circuit board back so you can try and get an idea of what it looks like. Let me put this shielding back. Alright, so when you open it, you'll have the shielding, and this plastic bar will be right there. It will easily be removed since you already unscrewed it from the underside. I always put the screws in there so that way you know that they belong there, and just set it aside. Now there's 2 screws holding the power circuit into place. Remove them. They're easily identified. These 2 are silver. All the others are black, at least for that portion of the board. So you remove those and set them aside in here and leave it as it is. Now for this guy, it's soldered on. It's just sticky tape underneath so you can peel it, but it's soldered right here, and it's soldered right down there. So you want to go with the soldering iron. Is it? Oh, no. Is that the one? I'm trying to think here. Bear with me. Yeah. So that's it right there. That point right there. Just basically just go with the soldering iron, just heat it up, and it'll pop right off. Now these 2 portions were on the other side of the the top circuit board, which is right there. So just heat them up, and same thing, just pull those apart, and then this will come off. So set that aside in there. Then you have this. Now these 4 screws you don't have to mess with. You can leave them in place because they just hold the controller ports into place. So they're no big deal. And you'll have 2, which here's the, as you can see, there's a gray wire or a brown wire there, another brown wire right there. They're soldered on right here and right here. So you basically want to desolder them and remove them. And you don't have to solder them on for testing because they just light up the display. So that's no big deal. Now, the one instructions I saw online told me I had to desolder this wire that connects the power board to the main circuit board. Leave it as is, do not touch it, because otherwise you won't be able to test it as it's disassembled, which is what you want to do. Otherwise, if you had to reassemble each time you wanted to test, it would be very painful and, oh my god, it would take years. Oh, excuse me. So, now I want to take note here, right in this section is where is another set of pins that connect the main board and the power supply board, as you can see right there. There it is right there. Leave that alone. Do not bother with it. You don't have to take it out or anything. Just leave it in place. It's fine. It's not going anywhere. Then your next objective is to actually remove this board up. Now it's connected from this board on the underside by these layers of pins, which is what I got confused with, because I was trying to pull at it and I didn't want to break it. And this side of the board will move freely, but you do not want to move that because you will have the risk of damaging these pins, and that would suck. So what you want to do, as this is in place, you want to take your finger, make sure you're not touching this portion, the power board, just leave it as is. Take your fingers, pry in there, and then just pull straight up. You're going to have to use a lot of tension. Don't worry about breaking the board. These pins are actually really durable. So they're not fragile as much as they say online that they are. And it'll lift up. And then there you go. This is technically the bottom, but the top portion of the board. Now, this is I guess the Sega CD portion of the circuit. It will already be in place. And, oops. I think one of them, oh well, whatever. Oh yeah, that fell. This RF shielding will be the next portion that you see, along with this. This will be still connected and it'll be slid into there. So what you want to do, remove all the small screws. There's 8 of them total. I believe 6 of them are on this RF shielding, and then 2 of them are on the board itself, holding it in. I think it's this one it connects to, as well as, I believe it's that one. So yeah, so there's 2, along with all the ones that are obvious on that. Remove all them. There should be 8 of them total. Now, and then to remove this, you want to be careful because you don't want to break the power. Oh, shoot, I'm not even aiming at the camera the right way. You don't want to break the power, the power switch. So what you want to do, you want to gently wiggle this RF shielding along with this up. You want to kind of jiggle it and lift them both up, and they'll be removed and set them aside, as I did here. And I put all the screws back in their place except that one fell, which is no big deal. They're all together, and then keep this together in a separate pile. Now, to remove the actual circuit board, you want to have your fingers, you have your hands like so, because you don't want to just pull it out, because the CD mechanism is loosely installed in here. So what you want to do, you want to hold your finger here. Also, you want to be careful of the ribbon cable that's connected. You don't want to pull on that. So what you do, you flip it over, and just wiggle it, and it should plop into your hand. And if it falls, you have plenty of clearance just so that you won't pull the ribbon cable enough to damage it. If it's still stuck, just simply open up the CD door like so and push down the spindle, and it should pop out into your hand. And then obviously I only have one hand available, but you remove this, set to this aside, and then set this aside, and you're already done. You have fully disassembled the CDX. So it's not too bad. Also, when you remove this, I guess I'm going to consider this the Genesis board. You want to remove the power for the batteries, which is right in the back. You can just pull it out. Don't worry about orientation because it's already set. You can only put it in a certain way due to the notch, which is located in the back there. Hopefully it'll focus. There you go. And that is it. Now for troubleshooting, I'm going to have to put this back onto this board, which I haven't done yet. Now right here is the CD activation button. What I saw and a couple of my friends told me, put a Genesis card, lay it on top, and then put the CD mechanism on top of that, so that way it holds the CD door down and it'll spin the CD. So there you have it, everyone. Full disassembly of the Sega CDX. Now the fun part begins. Now, other thing I want to note before I end this video is the potentiometers. Write down what their value is. As you can see, I did here. They match up. You want to write them down. And also, these aren't the default. These are default to this system. What Sega did, they individually calibrated the CD lens to each individual console. Because what I did, I was watching Luke Morris's video, and his defaults were this. So obviously, as you can do a side-by-side comparison, they don't match up. Yeah, so I mean, they're sort of similar, but not really. So you want to that's the first thing you want to do before you mess with the CD lens, is to write them down. And I'm going to have to put like a top there or whatever, so I know it's like that. Anyway, guys, I hope this video helps. I'll probably continue on and test this thing out, and hopefully it just needs a little bit of tweaking to get to work. Otherwise, I gotta replace the entire lens. So that's it for this section. Alright guys, this is the last part of the video, showing you how to reassemble it. Some tips on the laser and other general tips. So this is actually my Sega CDX unit, the broken one I had to give back to Nick. So I'm going to try to explain as best I can how to reassemble it. So pretend like this is all open, and this is like the top shell. What you do, you take this part, the front panel, you put that into place. That's the very first thing you want to do, because what I did, I actually put the Sega CD circuit board back first, and then I couldn't fit this in because this has to go in first because it mounts to the screws inside. So you put that in first. Then to install I guess the top portion, the Sega CD portion of the circuit board with the lens. How I did it, I held the board in my hand with the laser, obviously the laser on top, and I took the other board, well I can't show it with my hand, but I kind of like made it like a V, sort of like, yeah, like I had it like a V angled, and it basically got the volume control knob to wedge into the hole right here for the volume control, and then I just like lifted it inward. I kind of like did like a motion like that to lift it inward up into the top portion here. And then once it was lifted inward, I like, just pushed the corners to make sure it gets fully flushed. Then you turn it over like it is now, and you can put the RF shielding on next. Be careful here also. You want to first wedge the power button in first and then work the RF shielding. And that seems to work. One thing I do want to point out, the two ground wires that you end up having to solder on the end of the Genesis board, make sure, I would recommend like taping them, like I guess to here, because I actually put the Genesis board on top and the wires were stuck in between. So I had to take the Genesis board off and then pull the wires out. So make sure they're out like around here. I would like tape them just so they don't go anywhere. And one thing, and then once that's assembled, you need to solder on the top board and make sure the pins are, lay the pins in and then push it to connect both boards together. Also, make sure, before you close this up, make sure that Genesis cartridge plastic piece is inserted. Because I actually put it back together and I saw that piece laying here. I was like, oh crap, that doesn't belong there. So I had to take that off and then reinstall that, which wasn't a big deal, but just something I look out for. Now with the CD lens, this is SF C93AQ. Now this is the correct lens you want. Now to tell if it's an AQ model is you look at this diode. It's right under this shielding here. I'm gonna try and oh crap. I'm trying to point with my finger. It's not working too well. Oh my god. Alright. Right there, above where my finger is, that little block there is a diode. And I'm trying to see if I can focus in on that. That probably won't work. Come on, focus. The light work? See if this light works. It's a little better. Still blurry. Oh. Anyway, right in there, there's 5 pins on either end. Now that's the AQ model, which is what you want for this type, to repair your CDX. Now they have it where the AQ is missing. Then that would be a 8-pin model. 4 pins on the left, 4 pins on the right. That model will not work to repair your Sega CDX. But it'll look the same. So that's one thing you want to look out for. Also, if you hook it in, oh actually it won't work, but when they ship these things, unfortunately they ship it in regular plastic bags. I don't know why. I actually got this. This is a anti-static bag to put it in. But they put it in a regular bag, which makes no sense. But you'll see here, on that orange ribbon there, you'll see a little, look, it should be 2 dots. It's actually 1 dot. It'll look like one whole dot. You have to desolder that because there's actually 2 nodes there. What they do is they solder both the nodes together to ground this, to prevent like any static or whatever destroying this during shipping process. So you want to make sure you desolder that. That way the lens will work. So yeah guys, that's it with this tutorial. Hopefully it's not too long and hopefully it was informative. Till next time, this is MT Shark 7 signing out. Have a good night.